After many years my family tried to get back into my life, but I can't forgive them. Part 2. I stood frozen at the door, staring at the people I had spent years trying to forget. My mother, looking older than I remembered, her once perfect hair streaked with gray. My father, still wearing that same stern expression he always had, but now there was something else, something I had never seen before. Regret. And then there was her. Lisa. She had grown up, of course. I barely recognized her. She was in her 20s now, standing slightly behind my parents, biting her lip like she was nervous. A lifetime of anger surged inside me, but I didn't let it show. I gripped the edge of my door, forcing my voice to stay cold and steady. "What the hell are you doing here?" My mother stepped forward first, reaching out like she wanted to touch my face. I took a step back. Her hand fell to her side. "Please," she said, her voice trembling. "Just, give us a chance to talk." "Talk?" I let out a dry, humorless laugh. "You had years to talk. Now, suddenly, you care." My father cleared his throat. "Son." "No," I cut him off immediately. "You don't get to call me that." Lisa finally spoke. I'm sorry." I turned my eyes to her, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of something, guilt, shame, maybe even fear. "She should be afraid." "You're sorry?" I repeated. My voice was eerily calm, but my hands clenched into fists at my sides. "What exactly are you sorry for, Lisa?" She swallowed hard. "For lying. For ruining your life." The words hit me like a punch to the gut, but I refused to let them show on my face. I had spent years waiting to hear her admit it. Years convincing myself I'd never get closure. And now? It meant nothing. "You ruined my life," I said quietly. "And now you think just saying, sorry, will fix it?" Tears welled in her eyes. I was just a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I let out a slow breath, forcing myself to stay calm. "You were 11. Old enough to know lying about something like that wasn't a game. Old enough to know what happens to people who get accused of what you accused me of." Lisa wiped her eyes with the sleeve of her jacket, but she didn't look away. I was scared. Mom and Dad were fighting a lot back then. I wanted attention. I didn't think. I laughed bitterly. "No, you didn't think. And now I have to live with your mistake for the rest of my life." My mother let out a quiet sob. "We believed her. We thought. You thought I was a monster. I finished for her. And you didn't even hesitate to throw me away." My father finally spoke, his voice gruff but strained. "We were wrong." I stared at him. This was a man who had always been so sure of himself. A man who never once admitted to being wrong, not even when I was a child. And yet, here he was, standing on my doorstep, finally saying the words that could have changed everything back then. But it was too late. I shook my head. "You don't get to rewrite history. You don't get to pretend this was just a mistake, something we can talk through and move past. I was your son, and you let the world tear me apart without hesitation." My mother sobbed harder. Lisa was crying now, too. But my father, he just stood there, silent, accepting every word. "Please," Lisa whispered. "Just, let us try to fix this." I stared at her, at the girl who had destroyed my life, at the parents who had let it happen. I had spent so long imagining this moment, thinking about what I would say if they ever tried to come back. And now that it was here, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel satisfaction. I just felt empty. "No," I said finally. "You don't get to fix this." I started to close the door, but my father stepped forward, his hand pressing against it. "We're not leaving," he said firmly. "Not until you hear us out." I clenched my jaw. "You don't get to force your way back into my life." His grip tightened on the doorframe. "We can't change the past, but we're not giving up on you." My stomach twisted with anger. After all this time, after everything, they still thought they had the right to push their way into my life. I took a deep breath, my mind racing. They weren't going to stop. And I needed to figure out how to make them.